Little button man over there. He pushed
Here we
it.
go. Little button man has hit the button. Hey, guys.
Right.
Welcome back to the Raised Hunting Podcast. I'm David Holder. I am your host. I'm visited or joined today by not only two knuckleheads, my two boys, Warren and Easton, which it's been a little bit since the three of us have been back, but we're also joined today by a good friend of ours, and he's been a former guest, and this is by popular demand, I guess you'd say, that Sam is back. So Sam Beavers is with us here today. We're going to talk some more stuff about some of the adventures that Sam is helping people take and go on. When Sam was here last time, we talked about Alaska and trying to work out a moose hunt and things like that. Today is a little different. We're going to be talking about Africa. So, but we got some cool stuff. I know he's got some stories. He always does. And so he'll fill in what he can. And Warren and Easton and I all have some questions for him, and probably rightfully so, some of the same questions that you guys have. So we're going to try to get into all of that. Before we do that, though, housekeeping things we got to take care of. You guys have been slamming. We've asked for the reviews, and you guys have been doing it. So thank you. We really appreciate it. If you know buddies out there that are listening to the podcast, please have them subscribe. It helps boost our numbers and gets to more people so that we're helping more folks. And then you guys probably, it's not like we even need to tell you guys, but the raised website, Raised Hunting website has Raised Canine on it, has Raised Knox, has Raised Sense. So if you're looking for information on any of that stuff, or you're just looking for products, Raised Canine right now is, if you guys got dogs, and the reason I say that is we just went shed hunting with our dogs the other day. My dog is 9 now. Dana gets a little stoved up. Gave him a little bit of canine flavin, and he was back ready to go the next day, which was unbelievable to me. So if you guys have not seen the canine line, please check it out. Other than that, I'll turn it over to Warren, who's going to do some shout-outs.
Let's give our YouTube folks some love. Back Mountain Outdoors. William Ayers, SB4TT, said, great episode, guys. Thanks for sharing your story. James Mass, 9060, says, great video. The grizzly bear story was absolutely insane. Best hunting podcast out there. Agreed. Iowa Racks and Birds. Warren, thank you for part 2.
I'll pat you on the back since you
You're
couldn't
on
reach
it too, Nimrod.
I know, but I didn't say I agree.
Well, you should be pulling for our team. Or you should go sit on the bench and we'll do this podcast.
Yeah.
Loved these stories. Having survival skills is a benefit that when people have them too often, they take them for granted. Love the podcast, guys. Also, the bear story is next level adrenaline. Nurse Mike, IN. Great episode, guys. Can't imagine how stressful the elk hunt was, and not sure if it would be worse being in Warren's boots or mom and dad's. Keep them coming. I think mom and dad's.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's an unknown side.
For sure, Mom.
I knew I wasn't going to die. So.
I was going to say, for sure, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom was worried. I
Yeah.
mean, beyond. Whenever, when Mom gets quiet and, like, that, because normally she's
You see
like
the
very
smoke.
very stressed and talking, like, what are we going to do? And she went past that. And so, like, where I would have to say, he's going to be okay, Karen. Okay. I'm like, he's going to be okay. This is going to work out. I mean, what else do I offer?
I had enough extra on my belly. I was definitely getting through a night.
Yeah. You had all that blubber ready to roll.
That's why I wasn't shivering. So you guys think it's all nice being skinny? I don't think so.
I wonder how many of our camera video guys' parents are listen to our podcast, because they're probably like,
Bryce's parents loved that story.
really? I was just wondering.
Once they knew it was okay, yeah. Because Bryce called his mom on the mountain.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, after we'd started a fire and dried our stuff out, so she didn't know about coming out yet. She knew about going in.
Gotcha.
And then, so he was like, yeah, we're kind of in a survival situation. I was like, I don't know if that was the best way to break it to your mom. But Eric Robards, 1209, and Denver Algo, he says, playing chicken with a grizzly bear. You go get that camera, LOL.
Hey, that's pretty good. Those are a lot of new names on there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and
Keep it rolling. The
YouTube's
YouTube is
growing
what gets
too.
us going. So
we're over 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube.
heck yeah.
We only launched that channel, this summer?
Yeah, not very long ago.
And that's just been
Word
organic
of
growth.
mouth, yeah.
Just letting it do its thing.
So you guys keep it up. We appreciate it. All right. I got a story today. Next week's is going to be so long. I've been practicing reading it.
That's good.
Because of
we all
my reading
appreciate that.
skills. Shut up, Warren. All right, today's is from our main squeeze, Troy Walters. Hey guys, my name is Troy. Big fan of everything y'all do, from the show to the pod. Like David, I spent my whole life hunting public land back home in Northern Virginia, where I would smoke the first legal thing I saw. Now I'm 29 and live in West Georgia, where my in-laws own a 100-acre piece where that's the only place that I hunt. I do all my hunting here for small game, ducks, geese, to turkey and deer. For the first time in my life, I have done deer management, trying to have bigger bucks, because three years ago when I first started hunting, the population was all does and smaller bucks. Well, my hard work started to pay off the last season when I smoked a pretty decent 7, well, truly an 8, but he broke one off. Going into this season, I had been seeing a few consistent big bucks, and 2 in particular I was chasing. I was lucky enough to be off Halloween, and of course decided to spend it in the woods. Got in my ground blind, and about 8 a.m. I had a doe come busting into about 20 yards in front of me, and I knew our rut was in full swing. I waited to see what chased her, and in about 20 to 30 seconds I saw a big old set of antlers. Glassed him up and saw that he was a hammer of an 8, but not one that I had any history with. I let my old 30-30 sing, and he dropped. Waited a few and got out, put my hands on him, and he was even bigger than I initially thought. Definitely the biggest buck of my life, and needless to say, he is currently at a taxidermist getting shouldered. Troy Walters. That's a good story, my man.
Congrats, Troy.
That's cool. I mean, Troy, I can relate. The 30-30 is the part that we've got a 30-30.
Is that your lever action down there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, he has a 30-30.
Marlin. It was Marlin lever action 30-30.
You shot that thing?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Well, that's why we live here. It's like being one with John Wayne.
Yeah, okay. That is so impressive to me that those freaking Western dudes were just slinging lead with those guns.
We should
that sucker kicks like a
some
mule.
Targets out in Reggie's arena and start riding him and shooting off horseback.
Yeah,
sure
Mom's going to let you do that, I'm sure.
Mom didn't have to be there.
Yeah.
Hey, the other horse has done that, Shima.
Really?
Yeah, she's done like shooting off of her back.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But try their bows too.
The 30-30 doesn't kick anything compared to, and Sam they may carry a 375.
That's what I carry in Alaska.
Yeah, and
a 375.
Oh yeah.
What is
it?
It's
a 375. I carry a 375 Ruger in Alaska, but then in Africa we have 375 H&H, and it's like a 350 grain bullet.
Yep.
Good God, is that your like your double barrel ones? Or your single barrel ones?
Usually they're bolt action rifles.
Bolt actions?
Yeah. But I carry a 458 lot, which is a 500 or 550 grain bullet.
Might as well hit him with a frying pan.
He just basically called me a little. That's what he said.
I can tell you, so the 375 that my brother had looked just like a 30-30. It was a lever action, and he gets it, and he's telling me, man, this thing is awesome. This is, I don't know, and I still don't know much about guns. I'm not a big gun nut. But anyhow, I carried it deer hunting. And it's doe season, right? And so we go to this place that we hunt public land, and sure enough, this doe comes running up, and she comes right at me. Well, she's only like 15, 20 yards away, and I mean, it's got a 3 to 9 scope on it or something like that. But I put it right on her chest, and I mean, when I shot, all the deer I'd shot with a 30-30, they ran,
right,
and then they would tip over. You had a pretty good blood trail, but I shot this one, and it crumpled, and I was like, wow. Well, then I walk over there, and the entrance hole was as big as a freaking can.
Yeah.
I mean, it just blew this massive hole.
What was that caliber?
375.
Oh.
Were you shooting solids or softs?
I don't remember now, but for some reason I'm thinking that we were shooting hollow points.
He's old enough. They probably didn't even have that technology yet.
Right.
That is not true.
They still had the lead balls that they were shooting.
We just the terminology was different. I say hollow point, you say soft.
Yeah.
So,
were you carrying that mostly for bears?
Yeah.
Is that what? Yeah.
But you can't shoot it off a bench, even out of a lead sled, and it's only like a 7-pound rifle, so it's super light, super short barrel. It's for going through thick brush after stuff. But no, that thing is a mule.
I'll show you after what I want to get for my bear gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full auto Deagle.
50.
Desert Eagle.
Yeah, 50 BMG.
And then try to get a drum. I want to get a drum magazine on it.
Oh my. Okay.
I've seen a couple of these guys on YouTube. Oh yeah, you definitely got to aim like 5 feet in front.
Just
but I
spray
guarantee you,
everything.
it's gonna hit him like a truck.
Right.
It'll be the first time I'll be like, "Go ahead, charge me,
See
do
what
it, I
happens.
dare you."
Yeah. Oh,
What a
jeez.
Nimrod.
No, I don't. Then I won't have to. Then I won't have to be nervous about it because I know I got like 25 rounds and he's getting hit with a 50 cal every time. Just whop, whop, whop.
I need to bring my 458 down and let you guys shoot that.
I would
Yeah.
appreciate that. It would suck, but I know that I'm gonna have to take some time today, and I'm gonna be researching a 375.
This is
I can't believe I
It's
haven't
like-
even heard of one.
It's like the most.
That might be. No, what was Shane's? A 460?
No, 4570.
I don't think
That's-
so.
yeah.
That
I
huge
don't-
one
Is
we were
pistol?
shooting.
that pistol.
Yeah,
That's
I don't-
4570.
Yeah, I think
460
that-
Smith and Wesson probably.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes,
Yeah.
you should see this guy shoot.
That was
Unbelievable.
iron
Really?
sights.
Iron Sights was hitting a metal thing at 200
With a pistol.
every time.
consistently. Like
'Cause
we gave
Oh
him
my
crap that he
word.
wouldn't be able to do it because he did it once.
Right.
He did it like 3 times in a row.
Well, East and I were laughing at him because his first shot he hits it, and so then we're
Right.
like, "Oh, that was lucky."
And he was holding
And then
like,
just ding, 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 and we're like, "What the frick?"
Oh, I tried.
No.
Nowhere near. I have no idea how you figured that out.
Jeez.
I don't
It
know.
was
Shane.
impressive.
Yeah, but Shane can shoot any kind of gun. He's a big bird hunter, and
Right.
like, there's a few. We have
He
a
can
few
shoot a
for
bow pretty well too,
Yeah,
but it really pisses him off that he can't beat me yet.
That's great. He doesn't care about
He
me.
invites me all the time. You want to come shoot tonight? You want to come shoot tonight? You want to come shoot tonight?
I
Sure,
could.
Shane, but I ain't gonna let you beat me.
The phone's ringing right now because when Foster watches or listens to this podcast, Foster will call Shane and say, "Shane, Warren is calling you out," and that's it. He'll be on it now. So
Shane already knows though, so we give each other on that. But
Shane has become a loyal follower or another.
Ice-tubber.
He's a plunger now. I mean, he's got himself a Grizzly cooler, 450 Grizzly cooler, and he's in every day. And he calls me every day to tell me, "You're freaking awesome." He's like freaking out.
It's unreal.
if I could sleep on Shane's pattern, I would too. 'Cause he doesn't sleep for
Yeah,
whatever
he
reason.
does not.
Well, that's something that this does help you with, and he said that it's already helping him.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now he's getting 4 hours of sleep.
I don't know, but he said it. He's like, "I slept so good last night." I mean, he's pumped.
it
he's-
must be doing something because he even does it in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Like,
he's doing
really?
it.
I was like, if I do it in the afternoon, I'm going to be freaking wired. Like taking a
All right,
energy drink. at the
we
end of
better
the
get
day.
on to. We got Sam here to talk about some cool stuff, and he's just joined in with his smarts about rifles and pistols and how to protect yourself. So
You don't carry any lever actions or nothing?
No. Bolt action usually.
Yeah, because
Cool
you really
guy.
want to be sitting there doing this when a bear's charging you.
I'd rather do that than freaking run a bolt.
I can run a bolt pretty fast.
Fair enough.
Because I'm not even going semi-auto. I'm going full.
and I know we're still going on, but that's okay. But because it amazes me how good you will get at an action if you do it enough.
Right.
Because
your shotgun.
my shotgun, I can shoot a pump shotgun, not quite as fast as someone shoots an automatic, but I'm not very far behind them.
Right.
But just because that's all I've ever done.
Sure.
And I've met people that can do it faster than I can.
Yeah.
But it's fast if you do it enough.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't even have to shoot. I mean, if you take a 22 and just practice sitting in the living room, I mean, just working that bolt, or
Yeah.
working your action. I
Yep.
mean, that's
Yeah.
all it takes is practice.
But there'll be many times when we're dove hunting or something like that I won't. I'll pull the trigger again,
Mm-hmm.
and I already shot 3 times.
Right.
And I'm like, now
And you
granted,
guys yell at me.
what?
You guys are always yelling at me saying, "Warren, you're shooting so much."
Well, that's
No,
because
no.
you're typically unloading on non-game birds.
That was
Oh,
one
there's a
time.
dove.
Or
That was a blue.
they are so far out there that it's like, we're never going to kill one if you keep shooting at them at 212 yards before they don't ever get close.
It's a gun. It's supposed to be long range.
Nope, that's not what they're designed for.
All right, let's talk
All
about
right,
Toto.
cool. Well,
Toto. That was good.
let's start, Sam, if we can, kind of going back, give a little overview of who you are, what you're doing. I mean, why we have you here, if you don't care.
Well, yeah. Thanks for having me down again.
And make the plug, man. Plug your guys' business and stuff like that, because hopefully, people are getting the word out there.
Yeah, so my name's Sam Beavers. I grew up here in Iowa. When I was 16, I won a safari to Africa through Safari Club International. Decided that that's what I wanted to do, was become a hunting guide, in Africa especially. And I found a wildlife college in South Africa inside the Kruger National Park called the Southern African Wildlife College. I went over there and got a degree in dangerous game guiding. And that kind of started everything for me. Ended up in Tanzania with Bullet Safaris. Nathan Askew, he's an awesome guy and runs a great operation over there. And have been doing that for the last 7 years.
How cool is that? A college degree in hunting dangerous game. Like,
I'm pretty sure we asked him all kinds of questions about that too on the last one. So, Nick, I'm sure we'll put the podcast number of the first time Sam was on. If you guys didn't hear that one, I'm pretty sure I asked you all about that.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
I can't believe there was a degree for that and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was a.
Let's ask you the important question real quick, though. So if you got to get charged by a grizzly or a lion, African lion, which one would you rather get charged by?
Probably lion. They're easy.
Really?
They're easy to put down. So they're a thin-skinned animal, and they're susceptible to something called hydrostatic shock. So you hit them with a bullet, and it shuts down their whole nervous system.
Because of the shock or the force?
Yep, so the shock, the force value of it. So you hit them once, square in the chest if they're charging you, and it stuns them almost. Then you can get your follow-up shots in. Where a bear, you shoot a bear.
Nothing's stopping him unless he's dead.
If they're mad, yeah.
Like that's why I hate those bastards.
yeah, I agree.
They
And
just
they're big.
eat it.
Yeah, and we shot that bear. I shot that bear 5 times with my 458 a couple years ago up in Alaska, and it was an 800-pound sow. But she was on a carcass, right, and she just kept coming. I mean,
Is that your brown bear or grizzly bear?
grizzly bear?
Okay.
Yep. Interior grizzly.
Yep.
It was an interior grizzly. It was 800 pounds.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But
crap.
so where we were is the Yukon River, which is the dividing line between grizzlies and
yeah, I
brown
remember
brown
you-
bears.
so yeah, it's like what's
Kind of a hybrid almost.
well, not a, they're both the same. They're just the brown bears eat meat, so they're bigger. Where the interior grizzlies are gonna they're herbivores mostly. I mean they'll eat meat when they
But
can
your
get
lower
it.
48 ones, I don't think, like 600-700 is like absolute max most of the time, isn't it?
There's some bigger ones out there.
What do you think the beast was?
Well, the guy said 600 something.
They
Yeah.
gave us 600. I mean, I
Yeah.
can show you a picture of this bear that.
Well, you'll never find it
I-
in time.
Oh yeah, I just had it the other day, so you can kiss my
I mean,
butt.
some of those
I mean,
bears.
you
out in
guys go
Yellowstone,
on.
I mean, they're going to eat meat, but they're also browsing on berries and stuff too. Where like you'll shoot a 1,200-pound brown bear on the coast. Yeah, I mean they're big.
And they're nice though, right?
They're
You want-
super
you want-
feisty.
you want-
Cuddle 'em, yeah.
Back up.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Just back up because I found the picture.
Nickel
That's a
show it.
giant bear.
That one is a terrible photo of him though. Like, where's the
Right.
one where his guts?
I don't
almost on
have the
ground?
other one.
And
There's
where-
one
There's
where-
a distant
Where's
photo.
girlfriends with him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the DNR, or the Fish and Game in Montana, told me that they thought the bear was around 600 pounds.
Right.
And I'm looking at when, like Warren said, the other picture, he's a little farther out, and he and I both have killed black bears that were 400 pounds in the spring, which
Right.
is big. He looked more than 200 pounds bigger than those, but
Well,
that's
his gut too is like, it looks like it's like that far off the ground.
Right.
You know, I mean, just massive.
Well,
I would have thought, which one's easier to hit though, the grizzly?
well,
Because those lions seem freaking agile.
and they're very fast. I mean, if you're gonna a charging lion's gonna be 2 feet off the ground. I mean, he's running low like a cat. You ever seen a cat like
Yeah.
really sneak up on something? I mean, you got to get on their level and you're aiming. I mean, you get that big tuft of hair right here, but I mean, you're aiming kind of for the throat.
You're
On,
aiming.
on like a
What
funnel
the heck
shot, yeah.
else are you gonna do?
I'm just shooting.
Well,
like,
you-
I
I
mean,
mean-
I'm going to be like,
that's why I
Look
wouldn't
at
want
him,
him
he's
as my
dead.
guy.
Right. But
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to waste a shot at 40 yards. Let them get to 10 yards, 12 yards,
Yeah.
15 yards. I mean,
Yeah,
let-
this
let
is
'em
like
get
dove
close.
hunting. Don't shoot like that. Wait till they get here.
it sounds like another full auto situation.
Right. Yeah. There's a video. I'll have to find it for you guys. I mean, there's
Well, I've seen one where it like jumps and hits the one dude with the paw.
right.
You seen that one?
I don't know if
That's
I probably
old.
have.
It's old, but my God, the thing is cruising. Like, it looks
and they
like he's
kill
doing
it though
freaking
midair.
40
Oh,
miles an
wouldn't
hour. Well, and then there's one where the leopard gets on a guy.
Oh,
yeah.
And he's squealing and everything while it's on. I mean, like, that's freaking nuts.
Was
I'd
in-
be squealing.
There's one out there where the guy literally shoots the lion like right here, and it piles into him.
Yeah,
and knocks
yeah.
him down
too.
Yeah.
Where the bear seems like it'd be a little easier to hit, even though,
But they're just gonna keep coming, man.
yeah,
I don't know. Unless you brain them.
right.
You shoot them in the chest. Yeah, they may. They're still gonna have enough energy and enough. I mean, all that blood is circulating everywhere. They're gonna be after you for 3 or 5 seconds. Where you hit that cat with that shock value of that bullet, it's gonna stun it for, give you enough time to reload and put a
Shoot,
fatal
yeah.
shot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where, I mean, we had this discussion after some of these, like this story that we just told in this previous podcast. And there's nothing that I haven't been to Africa, so can't compare it to something like that. But like Easton, someone asked us the other day, well, would you rather a mountain lion or a grizzly bear? And I'm like, I'd rather have a mountain lion all day long. I feel like in Doug's case, he just kept it off of him. You know, these grizzlies just have a totally different mindset.
Correct.
Tenacity.
They are not fearful at all. So when they come into this battle, they expect to win. They expect to kill whatever that is.
Correct.
And that is the only animal walking in the North America so far that I've ever encountered that I'm like, I don't like this animal. I'm not comfortable around them. I don't want to be around them. I don't want, and until they open up a season where we can start to shoot at them and they get a little bit of, okay, wait a minute, maybe I'm not as high on the food chain as I thought.
Right.
That we are taking second fiddle to those suckers.
Yeah. If I was 600 pounds of twisted steel with sharp teeth, I wouldn't be that worried about anything else either.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank God they can't watch like Spartacus or anything, because they'd be out there just seeing if they could knock our heads off with one swipe, just to see.
Good Lord.
All right, let's go to
All
Africa.
Right. So Sam's gone to college for this and learned how to just be a badass is basically what has come to fruition. And we had Sam on here a couple months ago, or maybe it's been even 6 months probably, and we were talking about Alaskan hunts and things like that. But we had several people, because you mentioned going to Africa, and that's where you got your degree, and that you help people do those trips as well. We had several people that contacted us and said, hey, can you get him back and talk about Africa?
Right.
One of the things, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn or I'm not leading us down a road, but one of the things about this is that it's not as expensive as going on a moose hunt in Alaska.
Correct.
And so there's a lot of more people that were like, I might want to do that. The thing that I can tell people that I have, every person that I know of, and so far I haven't gotten the African bug and I want to go, but every guy that I know, whether they got the African bug or not, they went once and they want to go back. I haven't met a single person who was like, it was okay.
Right.
Not one. Not one single person. Every single person that I know is like, once they went, not only did they want to go back, they wanted to take family members and stuff like that. They were like, it was just unbelievable.
Right. And Africa gets that way. I mean, it bites you once, and that's like what happened to me. Is I went over there one time, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do forever, or as long as I can. And it's very family oriented, where you're not staying in. Well, certain hunts, you're not staying in a tent. These can be 5-star lodges. I mean, they have a pool. They do your laundry. You have Wi-Fi, air conditioning. It's not like you're living in a tent somewhere, unless that's what you want to do. And it's reasonably priced. I mean, you go to Africa and you can spend 10 to 12 grand, 15 grand, and have a really successful trip. And that's where it's the fear of you're flying to a third world country, which really it's not that bad. Once you get out of the
like
cities.
Mexico.
It's better than Mexico.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Once you get out, of the city and your stuff, and you're out there in the middle of nowhere, you're like, whoa, this is incredible.
So how long is the flight? Let's just start there. That just and how would that like?
Which when he's saying 10 to 12,000, that it's not that bad. I think you were probably, because we're talking somewhat in a comparison to like
50.
Right.
Yeah, a Yukon moose hunt. I think we were having a hard time getting below even 40, wasn't it?
Well, so to hunt with me, you can do it. To hunt with me personally, you're gonna be 40 plus.
Right.
But there's hunts out there that are great hunts, and you may shoot a giant moose and not, but 25 to 30.
It's still
that's where.
unreal.
Do you think Trump's going to bring those prices down?
I don't know if Trump. His son might. I don't know.
Yeah, he would be in on it.
Yeah. So flights over there. There's a direct flight from Atlanta to South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's like 18 hours. But you're also going to 6 hours of time change. So the flight over is really not that bad. If you leave at 5 p.m. here, it's 5 p.m. the next day there. So it's 24 hours basically. You're on a plane.
Traveling through time.
Yeah. And,
24-hour flight, though?
Yeah.
Damn,
Or you can
Not
break it up.
literally.
Yeah,
16
no.
hours. But
No, 18 hours.
18 hours,
It's
yeah.
because of the time change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're actually on the plane
for 18
for
hours.
24.
No.
You're on the plane for 18 hours,
But
and there's
then
a time
then
change
the
to 24.
time-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you leave at 5 p.m. here, it would be like landing at noon there.
Okay.
Or,
So
noon
you're
back
actually
Noon
on
here.
the plane
Yeah, noon here.
18 hours.
Correct.
But then
Yeah.
you lost 5, technically.
6 hours.
6. Yeah.
6,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Or you can do flights like I've flown from Chicago to we're at Addis Ababa, which is in Ethiopia, and that's like a 14-hour flight. but then catch another flight from there to Tanzania. Or you can go through Europe. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to break it up, especially if you want to travel for a couple days. But if you're flying with guns, that's very hard to do, especially in some of these European countries. But, I mean, count it for basically you're going to be traveling for 2 days.
Yeah.
Before you get to the lodge and settled in for the night.
Okay. So what's the price of those flights typically?
About $2,000.
$2,000.
$1,200 one way is about the cheapest you could do it, and that's flying economy, and that economy sucks. I get up and walk around like every hour, just do a couple laps around the plane. $1,200 one way.
Does that include feeding you and stuff on the plane?
Yep. So you'll get 3 or 4 meals.
Will they give you crackers?
Yeah. No, they're legit.
Seriously?
Meals. they're legit meals. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they decent?
I
could just see the airlines trying to be as cheap.
You've
as
never
they
had an
possibly can.
airline meal?
I don't think so.
Oh, I have.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're
when
all right. They're
not
like a
bad.
little box thing. You know, they come. I mean, they're not like.
I just know the last time I was on them, they charged me for freaking crackers.
Yeah, but these
are inclusive.
I was going to say, they know what
Yeah.
they're dealing with there and stuff like that. You know, that people are
How
going to
long
be
was our Hawaii flight?
13.
Was it that long?
It's pretty long. I didn't know.
I don't think it was
Something
quite that
like that.
long. Because I think you flew from here to L.A. and then from L.A. and then I think it's only like 5 hours. I think total it was probably 10. That 13 seems extensive.
I don't think we flew from L.A. We flew from Dallas.
But it still wouldn't. I think 13 is a long time.
All right.
That'd be tough for me.
We got
Flying
through
that
multiple movies. I can tell you that much.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or just upgrade to first class. It's only like $12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just, you know what, at that point, just go get a private jet. That works the same.
Charge
All right,
one that's
so-
probably $12,000 an hour.
So we got two days of travel.
Right. On the front end.
And you can look at different places to go.
Mm-hmm.
How long are the hunts then? I mean, so when you arrive there, how long is it going to take you to get to camp?
So it depends on where you're hunting. Let's just use South Africa. It's easy enough. So flying to Johannesburg, depending on where you're going, you may have to take a charter flight like out to the Eastern Cape, which is like an hour and a half flight. And then you're going to drive.
Like a little bush plane or something?
No, it's like a puddle jumper from like Des Moines to Chicago type of thing. And then you're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 hours in the car to get to the hunting area. But our staff will meet you at the airport, depending on when your flight gets in. Stay the night in a hotel right next to the airport, pick you up the next morning, and drive out, get settled in that day, and then shoot the guns, get some dinner, and depending on what time we get there, maybe go out on an afternoon hunt, or typically start hunting the next morning.
Gotcha.
Holy crap.
I
So
think
you have,
I'm counting how many times Warren's going
18.
to puke on the way there.
oh, yeah, no kidding. You have 18 hours in flight time and then potentially another hour and a half from wherever your airport is to the closest place.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at 19 and a half, and then you get in a vehicle to go 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6.
Good God. So you're looking at almost literally an entire day of just travel from different place to different place.
Right. Yeah, and that's why we say 2 days. Like our place in Tanzania where I was at, it was, I flew to Addis Ababa, I had like a 3-hour layover there, and then it's like another 6-hour flight into there. Then we hopped in the vehicles. And this is when we were building camp, right? So I had to drive with everybody out to where we're going to set up camp. That was like a 17-hour drive to the last village.
Mm.
And then from the last village to our spot where we were going to set up camp was like another 7 or 8 hours. I mean, that was like 4 days of just sitting in planes and vehicles and talk about swamp ass.
What, there's no other, like, I mean, I obviously have no idea. There's not a what do those people do for anything? I mean, are they only living off the land, like those villages and stuff out there?
So in Tanzania, and basically in all African countries, they can't hunt.
Okay.
So like the area in South Africa is a privately owned ranch.
They're concessions, right?
Correct,
That's what they refer to them.
It's
So
concessions.
So and Sam can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what happens there is they fence these areas. They're large. Some of them can be hundreds of thousands of acres,
Right.
but they're doing it for the opposite reason, not necessarily to keep the animals in, to keep the poachers out
Keep the people out. Yeah.
and keep the people out.
But this
I
is
think
like a
Easton's
single
actually
dude.
working and stuff, right?
Will do anything. I mean, like, if you're that far out,
He's
where are they going to get? I mean, I know they don't have a freaking grocery store like we would have maybe, but
Well, so
I'm talking like, how would they go to get stuff, especially if they can't live off the land? They got to be able to transport themselves somewhere to do something, live.
so a lot of the almost all the meat that we don't eat in camp goes to the villagers, which is a big thing for a lot of these guys. You can't bring the meat home, but you shoot a Cape buffalo. That's a 2,000-pound animal. You're going to eat 25, 30 pounds of meat in camp over the course of your hunt. The rest of that meat, if it's not being hung for leopard or lion baits, goes to the guys, and they smoke it, dry it out, turn it into biltong, which is like jerky, and then that's what they live off of. Or a lot of them are cattle farmers, so they all have cows or chickens and stuff like that. And then like the Rungwa village in Tanzania, it's like the last stop. Like this is the last village before you go into the hunting area. There's nothing else around. And like once a week a truck comes in with
goods.
foods. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like good food. And there's
Rice.
Yeah, rice, rice and beans. And they make this stuff. It's they take flour and they just fill it with water, and it's just like it looks like mashed potatoes, but it does not taste like mashed potatoes.
Interesting.
Like when we're building camp in Tanzania, I had to live off rice, beans, and that it's called ugali, and catfish out of the river for like 8 weeks.
How was that?
It's terrible.
Pooping through a screen?
Yeah. It was,
Probably ready for a steak when you got done.
yes, yes, very. And the catfish out of the river, I mean, we're catching them out of a hippo pond, so they're full of bacteria and stuff. I mean, you got to fry it if you can.
Right.
These guys smoke it and just eat it, but I can't do that or I'll get sick. And
Their guts are probably used to it.
Correct,
You know, they've
yeah.
toughened up. And
they'll drink water straight out of the river. I have to, all the water that I
Oh.
need for 8 weeks, I have to bring in, which is like cases and cases and cases of water. If you run out, then boil water, but still, it's Giardia and stuff is not
Yeah.
good.
And that's, they can literally, they've just adapted to that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to be able to drink out of it. And so I'm assuming you couldn't do that in a couple weeks.
No, I mean, they're born with it.
Interesting.
And there's malaria there.
Yeah.
So got to be careful of that. And then everything that can kill you is there.
so
Snakes.
Well,
It's a
the
great place to go.
so the one thing that back up, and there are vaccinations and things like that you have to have before you go, correct? Or,
Certain countries, yes.
Okay.
So like we recommend like a hepatitis A, hepatitis B. Not like you're gonna be catching any sexual diseases, but if you get a cut and the guy next to you, one of the trackers or something has an open wound, you can transfer stuff that
Right.
way. Malaria medication, if you're coming for 14 days, take it. I'm over there for so long, like over there for 3 months, that I'll typically run out of it, and then I'm way more susceptible to catching malaria. So I just don't even bother taking it. I've never had an issue. And it kind of messes
Wouldn't
with
it be
my
better
mind.
for you not to take anything if you were going to have to deal with not having it?
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
I just don't bother taking anything.
Yeah.
But I took it for like the first couple of years, and it just messed with my mind so much, taking it for that long of a period. And there's studies and stuff on whether malaria medication works or not, but it depends on the person.
Interesting.
But I mean, there's all sorts of yellow fever vaccine. There's a pile of them. I just don't remember off the top of my head what they.
but
all
have you
are.
guys ever had anyone that you've had come hunt get sick?
No, maybe some little bit of food poisoning.
Right.
Maybe some Giardia, but that's not. I mean, that's because they decided to.
Take a drink where they shouldn't have.
Yeah, correct.
You know,
Yeah.
So do you take anything when you go over there?
No, I don't.
And you're fine.
Well, fine is a relative term.
Well, I'm just saying, like that.
He looks
that's
fine.
just-
Yeah, I've never been sickly enough that I thought I was going to die.
okay. So it's not a requirement to go take all that stuff to go
So
over there.
it's like the
I
yellow
thought the
fever
US
vaccine, you
made
have
you.
to.
Oh.
No, it's the countries coming in.
Oh, okay.
And then, like when I went over during COVID, the countries didn't even require it. It was the airlines. So I had to get vaccinated to go just to get on an airplane. And then when I get in the country, they're like, "What's COVID? That's made up by the West."
Well, they weren't wrong.
yeah, yeah, they were way ahead of us.
Yeah.
All right, so we got probably 2 to 3 days of travel.
Correct.
How many days are typical hunts?
Anywhere from 7 to 21 to 28 days. So like a plains game hunt, you're going to show up, shoot 4 or 5 animals. You could do that in 7 to 10 days is the typical hunt there.
With a gun or a bow?
Both. If you're going to bow hunt, I would say lean more towards that 10 days and expect, I mean, you may go home without one of the animals you hunt, you wanted to shoot, but there's multiple animals. There's 25 to 25 animals on some ranches, and then there's 50 on some
25
ranches.
different species you're
Correct,
talking about. Yeah.
Correct. So you're going to go over, Warren's going to come up to me and say, "Sam, I want to go to Africa. Here's my 5 main animals. Okay, this is going to be difficult to do on this place. Why don't we substitute this out?" Something like that. It is possible, but it's going to be difficult. If we don't get this, are you willing to substitute this out? So it's not like you're limited to just your 5 animals.
So if someone like me came to you, and said, I don't really know what I want,
Right.
what would you say? Here's the 5 that I would recommend that you'd be super happy to go home with. What would you say those 5 are?
Warthog, kudu or gemsbuck, which are awesome. Impala, it's like the white-tailed deer of Africa. Maybe zebra. I mean, zebra's kind of, some
couldn't
people don't
shoot a
like
zebra.
it. You couldn't, yeah. And it's
No.
just a giant horse, but they're
Yeah.
awesome. They're super cool animals. And then like a springbuck, bushbuck. Bushbuck are hard.
What's the springbuck look like?
They're like 60-pound little animals. They have a big white tuft. When they get agitated, their hair stands straight up on their spine. They're really cool. They have like they look kind of like a antelope.
I know which one you're talking about.
That's
Is their
interesting,
horns
'cause
curve
I
in?
think-
Yep.
Yeah.
Come straight up in
Okay.
the curve. Yeah.
I think of those, I think I would be in on one.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what
don't
do you want
Which
to shoot?
one?
Well, I didn't know. I don't know all of them, but I don't care about a warthog.
Okay.
I don't care about Impala. I also don't care about the 60-pound one. You said one of them that I was like, yeah, definitely that one.
Kudu.
Kudu.
Yeah.
And then
you gotta shoot a kudu.
The Gemsbuck, which
Probably-
is an oryx.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an oryx. No, that's a kudu, isn't it?
No,
That's a
Okay,
gemsbuck.
Gemsbuck.
oryx, yeah, and
Yeah.
then the
The kudu is the curly
other one
horns,
I'd
right?
want
Spiral.
is
Spiral
Yeah.
horn.
Neil guy.
You want to shoot a Neil guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, go
We can
down
shoot a
in
Neil guy.
Texas and do
That
that
thing's
one.
huge.
You can
Is
shoot
that
them
one
like
extra?
coyotes.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a little bit more for a Neil guy.
Ah, of course.
Really? I thought that nobody gives a crap about them.
Oh no, they're expensive. No, relatively expensive.
Bro, go down to the south here in their free range. You shoot them like a coyote.
Where?
That's what Dad was talking about.
Not the Neil guy.
Yeah, that we were just talking to
No,
at ATA.
yeah. So I just came back from an audit
think it's
hunt
in-
in West Texas.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
And-
somewhere in Texas.
And it is in Texas, but southern Texas,
Yeah.
from what I understand. But anyhow, they fall under the category of exotics in
Right.
Texas. So it's a $48 hunting license if you
Right.
buy like a 3 or 5 day. I think it was a 5-day license.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any the state doesn't have any restrictions on it, meaning like
Right.
you can only kill one, or like I could have legally, you could have killed an aoudad at night,
Mm-hmm.
and I could have shot 20 of them legally by the state. They don't
Right.
care. They don't because they're not native to there and they don't really want them there. They don't put any governing laws on them. However, people who own the ranches have, okay, we can kill this many rams or this many, so it works that way. So I don't know what a Neil guy hunt would cost, but yes, you're right in that the state doesn't require anything or whatever, but I don't know what the ranch would charge.
I
you
doubt
for
it would be cheap because Axis deer are free range down in Texas now too. And like I was looking at some of them, and they're still $7,000.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and, so when you ask like what would be good animals to hunt, well, what's your budget? I mean, do you want to spend $15,000 in trophy fees? And yeah, we're going to shoot a sable. We're going to shoot a kudu. We're going to shoot some big, super awesome animals. Where, Sam, I only got $5,000 in trophy fees that I want to spend. Okay, then here's what we can do for that budget.
And then is
It's
trophy fees like the hunt, or that's on top of the hunt?
That's on top of the hunt. So typically what you'll do is you'll pay the daily rate, which could be anywhere from $200 a day to, like on a dangerous game, lion, leopard, elephant hunt, you're going to be spending $2,000 or $3,000 a day. And then you have your trophy fees on top of that.
Okay. So let's just say you do the standard package.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're $200 a day. So and you're going 7 days. So you're
Right.
so now you're at $1,400, and then that would be $5,000 in trophy fees for those, like your warthog, everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna be like $8,400 or so.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you're going to have your taxidermy and shipping everything home. So there's another $4,000-ish. And then your plane tickets, right? I mean, you're going to be in it for 15.
Okay.
What are you looking at taxidermy though? Doing it there, or are you sending it to the U.S. and doing it? I mean, I've heard both, but
Yeah, there's a couple very good companies in South Africa that you can do it. And they do great at it. But then you're going to pay more in shipping because you're going to have a bigger crate.
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where if you just get, like in Tanzania, all we do is salt and tan the hides and then ship them back in a small little crate. And then there's a lot of really good taxidermists around here,
yeah.
around the U.S. that do
Yeah,
phenomenal
for
work.
those people listening, Whalen's
is-
Wildlife Creations in Great Falls, Montana, he does phenomenal work with African animals, not just because he's a buddy of ours, but he's been there many times. So he's mounted tons of them, life-size stuff. He knows what he's doing. That's my whole thing is I always feel I'm not bad-mouthing a taxidermist in the East or the Midwest, but when they don't do an antelope, they don't know how to do it. I mean, I'm sure they can do it and it'll look okay, but someone who has done multiple antelope, it's going to look better coming from someone who does that.
Right.
So same thing when you find you're looking for someone to mount something from Africa, you want someone who knows what they look like.
You'd think with that theory, though, that there would be a lot of really good deer taxidermists in Iowa, and I can attest to that is not the case
Yeah, well,
at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that quite. I mean, there are a few. There are some good ones, but they are not. There's also just taxidermy in general. Just seems like a lot of people are doing it out of their garage and stuff like that. And so if you want it done cheap, you're probably going to get it back cheap work. I mean, it's just not going to be. The thing about the stuff that Whalen sends us is it looks alive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it looks like it's real,
Right.
and that's.
So this is what I've never understood about Africa because it is so expensive. I don't think that I would care to go shoot some of these things. Like, for instance, if I'm going to go to Africa, and maybe this is, I feel like you probably deal with this a lot, where everybody has their idea of what Africa is like or what they could come shoot. When we first had talked to anybody about any of it or anything, and they're telling me I can come shoot like 5 herbivores or something that is like feeding around doing something, I'm like, okay. I'm thinking like you got freaking elephants, you got giraffes, you got lions, you got leopards, you got cheetahs, you got all these freaking crazy animals. And you're telling me I'm going to shoot the equivalent of a whitetail?
Right.
Like,
well, and it's price range. Like a leopard hunt's going to cost you $70,000.
so what's the
$70,000.
Yeah, I know.
And that was the one that I was like, I would like to kill a leopard.
Isn't it like the big 5 or is that what it is?
So lion,
Cape
leopard,
buffalo.
elephant, Cape, rhino.
Okay,
So
so
what one's
I
most
wanted to
expensive?
do that. Yep, the big 5.
Yep.
And is that a thing in one trip?
No.
No.
Not
Okay,
possible
so you
one
come
trip.
in like multiple years or something,
Yeah. Well, you could do it all in 1 year, but you're going to travel to
or just multiple times?
multiple different countries. I mean,
Okay.
you could do it over the course of, let's say, 2 months. And
Oh, but you're having to travel that much.
you're going to have to go to different countries. You have to get different permits to go into each different country. And like our area for leopard is limited for quota.
Oh,
So we get 4 leopard a year on quota.
Okay.
So if you want to book this hunt, well, we're sold out for the next however many years.
Yeah.
And then you got to find, you can still come with us, or you can go out and do your own to go shoot an elephant. You find a different outfitter to go shoot your elephant in, let's say, Botswana or something.
So not very many of these places have like say all 5 of those.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But
None of them do.
For
I don't think there's any place that has the 5.
Well, South Africa, but you can't shoot all of them in South Africa.
Okay.
Like you can't shoot well, you can on certain areas, but it's like it's a coal hunt where they're damaging crops, fences. Then they'll let you come in and shoot a 20-pound bull. You know, and when I say 20-pound bull, they measure their ivory, they weigh their ivory, and that's, if he's 20 pounds of ivory, that's a 20-pound bull. Where like a big bull is going to be 70-pounder, 80-pounder, 90-pounder.
good God.
But then
Okay.
you can't shoot leopards in South Africa, but you can shoot lions. You can only shoot rhinos in South Africa. You can't shoot rhinos anywhere else.
I didn't
shoot
know you
Cape
could still
buffalo
shoot
everywhere.
rhinos somewhere.
Oh yeah, they sold a rhino for like $300,000,
Good Lord.
but it was a problem rhino. It was an older bull. He was killing the younger bulls, killing calves and stuff, and so they were like, hey, let's put this rhino up for auction.
So just to get this out of the way, because there's no point really talking about it further, but the 5,
Mm-hmm.
what am I looking at? Like $500,000?
Yeah, that's what I would budget for.
Good Lord.
Which one is the most expensive of the 5?
Lion and elephant are probably going to be your most expensive, depending on where you go. If you're going to shoot a 100-pound elephant, you're going to spend well over $100,000. To hunt a lion with us in Tanzania, it's about $125,000. But you're there for 21 to 28 days. You're
Can you
shooting
bring-
multiple different animals.
Can you bring the lion back though?
Yeah.
I thought they made some deal where you couldn't get him back somehow.
You can, thanks to Trump and his first term.
They changed
They
that.
changed the law to where you have to get a CITES permit, and it's for endangered species. So anything that's considered an endangered species or on the endangered species list, you have to get a special permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. It has to come from a country that recognizes these. I mean, there's a lot of hoops to jump through
Oh,
to try to
yeah.
figure this out.
So who
This
are
is
these?
nuts.
Who are the guys that are? Who are these guys buying that are doing the big 5s? Got to be guys that are just loaded.
Yeah, I mean, you're
And then how do you guys come with the prices on that? Like basically, well, we have 4 tags. How much can we get for it?
yeah.
Market value. I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's just
it's-
because
it just
it-
Depends on
dictates-
the area. Too.
Well, because I would think 4. There's got to be a whole bunch of dudes out there that have a ton of money that would be willing to kind of bid on one of those 4 tags.
Yeah, and there's so many. So like that Rungo area where we were talking about, where where I hunted out of, there's like 13 concessions there, and everybody gets 4 on quota, basically. But it's on the Tanzanian government to come in and say, well, how many leopards did you guys see last year? So we take all our video camera footage, or trail camera footage, and we write down, okay, we saw a male, a female, and 2 cubs on this one bait. They were here for this many days. And we'll have like 30 baits running. So we give that information to the Tanzanian government, and they say, okay, we're going to allocate your quota this year to 5 because you have so many leopard. And each and every area is different. Every country is different. I mean, it's a complete headache when you start really getting down to the nuts and bolts of everything.
But it does say that they're at least trying to keep that where you can continue to do it.
Correct.
I mean, if they didn't do it, we wouldn't be able to hunt them. We'd be done. Right. Probably they'd all be gone.
Correct. And that's these areas close to the villages. They're getting a lot of predation from these cats, especially leopards that are coming in, killing cattle, killing chickens, killing dogs, and then they'll go out and snare them, and then they'll sell their skins on the black market.
Mm. What is this is also probably not that beneficial, but how much is, like, you're talking 80, 100-pound tusks that each, number one? Okay, each.
Yep.
What is that worth?
Well,
like, for instance, on the black market. It's
straight
pure
ivory?
yeah.
Yeah, it's straight ivory. I couldn't tell you that. I'd be lying if I tried to give you a
Expensive, though, you think?
Oh, yeah, I mean, tens of thousands of dollars.
Good God, imagine having that on your wall. Ooh.
But, I mean, you can't. You have to get a special, you get a permit saying, hey, I'm going to shoot an elephant.
Yeah.
Then you have to get a permit once the elephant's dead, and then your ivory is stamped with all of your information. And there's stories
like a serial code?
Yeah, just like a little barcode on the ivory. But there's stories of ivory going missing for years. Or the Tanzanian government sits there and holds it in the back of a facility until you give them enough money to get it out.
Good
but
Lord.
That's the other thing, too, you got to think of is and you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but so it's only tens of thousands of dollars. Sure, a lot of money, but at the same time, you got poachers risking their lives for
$200.
Yeah, or something that's even $20,000. Like,
but they're not getting that. I mean, they're the bottom of the barrel. They go out and do all the work. They're getting $200 for each tusk they bring in. But $200 to them is a lot of money. They can live off that for a year. Like the guys that hunt with us, that are our trackers, our cooks, and everything. Their 3 months of working for us is almost enough for them they don't have to work the rest of the year, as long as they don't go out and blow their money.
Where are they going to blow their money?
They'll hop on a bus and go into the town, 11 hours up the road and spend it on alcohol or whatever.
Was it you or maybe my buddy John? Somebody was telling me they love shoes.
They do. I didn't tell you that, but shoes are a big deal over there.
Okay. He was like saying that they'd go and get Jordans and stuff, and they'd spent their entire 3 months on it.
It's a status symbol. If you have a nice pair of shoes that doesn't have holes in it, then you're
probably rich.
Yeah, you're
high class.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
All right, well, let's come back to reality a little bit because those are some of the hunts. The dangerous game, I'm sure it's interesting.
Coming from.
But that's not the typical guy going over there to hunt. Like, I mean, because like I said, I know a lot of people that have done this.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we hang around with a lot of people with a lot of money, but a vacation anymore is going to cost you $5,000-$6,000, not including your plane tickets.
Right.
So you're at $10,000 probably on most vacations. So $15,000 for
that is a stretch and a half.
Family of 5. Going down to Mexico. I mean, you go to a resort in Mexico, yeah.
You're gonna have.
Now you can argue though a family of 5 going on vacation or yourself going on a hunt in Africa. Pass that by the wife and see how it goes.
Well, my family of 5 was only 4, and 2 of you are out of the house now, so it's a little more cost effective.
Yeah, and the wives can come; they don't have to hunt. I mean, you're not paying for it's $200 a day for you to come and hunt, where it's $100 for your wife, and that's just covering her meals, sitting by the pool, taking her into town, and she can do go hiking trails. I mean, there's hot air balloon rides, also wine tours, golfing, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. Wine tour. Do they have horses over there?
Yeah.
Karen,
No.
Karen will be all in.
Mine's going to be way more expensive than that because she's going to want to hunt.
Uh-huh.
I think Mom would hunt, too. I don't think she could not. Although she says that she would just like to go on a safari.
Horse riding.
If she could just. Well, you tell her that you're going to ride a horse through country to see a giraffe or something.
All over Africa.
Yeah, that would be her deal. Now, I had someone tell me not too long ago that, and I don't think it was on their list, and I just have to ask this question. And I'm sorry for getting us off topic, but they shot a mamba.
Black mamba.
Yeah. And came to the water hole.
A snake?
A snake.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you charge for that? Is there
snakes come to the water holes too?
Yeah, well, yeah, they got to get water.
Screw this place. I'm going to pay to go here?
No, you don't. We try to avoid black mambas at all. I mean, they're the deadliest snake in the world, one of them. They can stand up 2/3
Well, how you
of
gonna
their
do
body
that when
length.
you're going to water holes?
Well,
What'd you just say?
They can stand up 2/3 of their body length.
Yeah, so you get a 9-foot mamba, and it'll stand up 6 feet.
They go 9 feet tall.
They
Or
can,
9 feet long.
Yeah, I mean 12, 15 footers. Yeah, I got a picture somewhere. I'll show you of a guy holding the skin of one that's like 8 feet long, and it was on top of our little thatch roof of our dining area.
That's comforting.
Yeah, but then they have the rock pythons that are, they're that big around, and they'll stretch 20 feet across the road. Not 20 feet, but 15, 18 feet. And you can actually kill pythons. Those are like a legit animal you could kill and bring home.
Those aren't poisonous, though, right?
So what's-
Pythons, no.
Squeeze you to death.
So what's
Right.
the black mamba deal? Is there tags on those or anything? Or
No, it's
Yeah,
Just
avoid them. Avoid them at all
Right.
costs. Yeah, and I mean, if it's a life to death situation, you got to do what you got to do.
Why is nobody talking about that? Whenever all I've ever heard about is like king cobras.
There's cobras
to-
too, spitting cobras. Yeah,
Spitting cobras? What do you mean?
so they're anything that reflects, they can spit their venom up to like 9 feet, 10 feet, whatever. So they'll like wear a bright belt buckle, or they'll shoot at your eyes, like wear sunglasses, but they'll shoot their venom at you and blind you. The only way to get rid of it is to have somebody pee in your eyes.
That's a lie.
No, I'm not joking.
So not only do you have to have a snake freaking spit in your face, but then you got to watch another snake piss in your face. Gotta love that.
That was too far.
I'm trying to figure out how he's making money because I ain't ever paying for this.
Good
No, it's-
Lord.
But so you're going over there in what's their winter time. So most of the snakes they're not out at that point. So you really the snakes are there. You got to be cautious of them. But most of the time it's not a huge deal.
So I want to know about this black mamba deal then, though. So
They're-
this guy
they're-
paid to hunt
Yeah.
it or whatever?
No, he was just sitting there. I don't know what he was. He was sitting in a water hole waiting on something to come in, and the very first thing that showed up was a black mamba, and the guy told him, if you want to shoot it, you can shoot that. And so he shot a black mamba with his bow. I haven't seen the video or anything. I just listened to him.
They don't have the king cobras are the ones that have the big wide head, right?
Yeah.
Where they flare out.
Yeah.
The black mamas don't do that.
When they open their mouths, it's pitch black. That's
Yeah.
how it's the sign of death.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good with that.
I didn't know they could get that long. You ever known anybody or met anybody that been bit by one or a cobra or anything?
No.
You ever seen one?
Oh yeah, I've seen a bunch.
They gotta be pretty quick then if you guys are avoiding them at all costs.
They're very fast snakes. But they have terrible night vision. So like they're only out during the daytime. Like at low light, you'll see them crossing the roads because they're laying in the sand. In the middle of the day, it's warm, and for that time of year, it gets down to 40 degrees at night. So they're laying in that sand, warming up, and then right at dark, you'll see them crossing the roads, going back to their holes. But they'll like live in trees. They'll live just about anywhere.
I would want to shoot one of them suckers.
And then there's the puff adders, which live around camp. They're like a rattlesnake, but they'll kill you. And they're big, fat, little short things. All the snakes over there will kill you if you don't like snakes.
All right. So, but they keep the snakes out of the compounds or whatever where you're staying and stuff like that. There's someone.
They try.
What?
Sounds like they try because it sounds like a skin was on the roof of one of the.
Well, that was when we came in the next year. It was like when we'd been gone, it came in.
So, what time of year are you guys are typical hunts going on for going to Africa? When do you typically go?
Start going over in April, May, and then hunt until October, November at the latest. So basically the complete opposite of our season.
Okay.
Because they really don't have a summer, winter, fall, spring, summer, winter, fall. They have like a rainy season and a dry season. So their dry season is going to be that time you're over there hunting, which is their winter. And then the rainy season would be like from November till April, May.
Now, are you guys hunting? Is there any kind of rut for any of these animals, or is that when you want to go, or is it just basically you want to either go during the non-rainy season or you want it drier, so they got to come to water if you're hunting water, that kind of stuff?
Correct, yeah. And their ruts are all over the place. Depends on the animal, but there's so much going on over there. Like when we get there in May or June, that's when they'll have their young. They just had calved, and then throughout the season, you'll watch those animals kind of grow up.
As in the vast majority of them have had their.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Like zebras, you'll still see pregnant zebras over there. Like when we're over there, they haven't given birth yet. They're typically one of the last to drop.
That's interesting. All right, so we got. You would tell someone they need 14 days if you're going to plan an African trip, just to be able to get there, hunt, and get back.
Yep. So I would say 2 to 3 days on each end. So if you're coming for 10 days, plan for 15 days to be gone. because there's flight delays. I mean, you lose your guns in Johannesburg, or you lose them when you land back in Atlanta or Chicago. Plan for 14 to 15 days.
Gotcha. Okay, and we're looking at about $15,000 for an average plains game type deal. And then what about other costs? Like, do you tip? Are you tipping guides? I'm assuming.
Correct. So, and that's where people really struggle to understand is the tipping side of things. You guys are going to come to our area. We're going to have 1 to 2 skinners in the camp. We're going to have 2 to 3 trackers on each truck. You're going to have a wait staff. You're going to have a guy doing laundry. You're going to have 2 servers. You're going to have a couple cooks. You're going to have 15 or 20 people you got to tip, a couple drivers. The going rate for a hunt like that is 10%.
10%.
Right. Well, you go over there, 10% at the end of the day is not going to cover everybody. But you're not going to give like the cook $2,000. You're going to give them like $150, $200. Where your guide, if he shoots everything you want him, that's kind of up to you what you're going to tip. But $15,000 hunt, plan on going over there with $5,000 to $7,000.
Tips
and tips. Yeah.
It keeps adding up.
Yeah.
It's
So you really need to
But that's what's so good about Sam coming here, so that people, because the worst case scenario is someone that books something and then all of a sudden gets there and goes, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting it. Because what about licenses? Do you got what does it cost for hunting licenses and things like that?
So each country's different. Like in Tanzania, your license, if you want to shoot everything under a leopard, so like Cape Buffalo, all that stuff, it's going to be, and the prices change every year. It's the government, but you're going to have 3 different levels of licenses. So your 10-day license is going to get you 20-some animals. Your 14-day license is going to get you 30 animals. Your 21-day license is going to get you 40 animals. And all those prices go up. But then you also have to pay a fee on your permit. So like if you wanted to shoot a leopard, up front you have to pay for the leopard permit. And you haven't even shot your leopard yet. And that can be $7,000. Depending on what the government decides to make it that year. Same with elephants. You want an elephant permit, well, your going rate for an elephant permit's $40,000 or whatever it is, depending on the country. I mean, there's so much that goes into it that we could sit and talk about all day. Right. But like South Africa,
you really
it's
honestly though need to be probably planning on spending $25,000 by the time you're done with flight, getting your animals back, tipping, the hunt, everything. Basic hunt, you probably should be budgeting more like $20,000 to $25,000.
Yeah, it depends on if you're there for. If your guide does great, tip him more. If not, then don't. I mean, give him $1,000. But
right.
I mean, there's so many people that there's 10 to 15 to 20 people in that camp that you got to take care of, and they're not expecting you with $1,000 each person. They're expecting $100 because to them that's a lot of money.
Right.
So yeah, say for a $15,000 hunt, plan on tipping another $5,000. Yeah, I mean you're 22 to 25 in.
Is there any free animals?
Sometimes there's cull animals. Like if I need you to cull something, you can pay me $100 because my skinner's got to skin it out.
Yeah,
type of thing. And there's a lot of those that go on. Like we have too many kudu. We have this broken horn kudu that we need to get shot. Yeah. That's $250. Yeah, that's great. Shoot it.
Interesting. So if I were, let's say, for the dude that wants to go over and maybe wants to kill one thing that they're like, that would be kind of cool, like a kudu. Outside of that, they would like to at least be able to hunt something else.
Right.
What's the cheapest they could do it, and what would they be able to hunt? I mean, I'm assuming you could come over and pay for just a kudu. I don't know.
Yeah.
It always sounds like you guys are doing like packages, but
well, so there's a lot of operations out there that are very big turn and burn kind of guys. So you'll be in camp with 6 or 7 other people. So yeah, you coming over to shoot a kudu is not the end of the world. But if I was going to trying to run a business where it's just you 3 guys coming over here, I couldn't do it where you just come shoot one animal.
Yeah. Well, it makes
it's
sense.
Not cost effective.
Yeah, you needed. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But your kudu trophy fee is going to be $2,500 to $4,000 depending on the size of the kudu. Which some people do that where they go by the inches. So you shoot a 50-inch kudu, it's going to cost you $2,500. You shoot a 55-inch kudu, it's going to cost you $3,000. You shoot a 60-inch kudu, it's going to cost you $4,000, whatever it is. But then if that's all you're going to shoot, there's some other things you can shoot, and we can do it for shoot you some cool animals. That you're shooting your trophy kudu for X amount of dollars, then okay, Easton, I've got 4 of these animals, 4 impala that I need to get rid of. You want to shoot one of those, or I've got an excess of springbuck. We'll shoot a small one or a broken horn or an older one. I mean, you can do it that way too.
Is that a benefit? Like if somebody were to say, hey, I don't really care what I come over to hunt. I want to come on a 10-day hunt. I'll shoot as many cull animals you guys need, whatever, because they can't shoot them, right?
Right. Well, I mean, you could, but why not add a value to it?
Yeah. So would that be a little more worth it?
Yeah, it would be.
Because then at least you're helping out with whatever they're trying to get rid of.
Correct.
They don't got to put that much time into you.
Right. But if you're planning on going to Africa one time in your life, are you really going to go shoot cull animals? I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I wouldn't personally. But there's guys that do that.
I probably would, considering the fact that what I would really want to go shoot is pretty unrealistic. So unless I make a lot of money, yeah.
So, but the one big difference about Africa, no point system, nothing like that to draw tags. I mean, you can plan on a hunt and you're going.
Correct. Yep.
And how far out, how many years out are you saying that you guys are booked?
South Africa, you could, like if you guys wanted to go this year, we can make it happen this year. Like Tanzania, yeah, if you want to shoot a leopard, you're looking at a couple years, just based on the available quota.
Gotcha. And that's why the prices are so high, because there's just not that many people are getting to hunt them.
Correct.
So that's where the dangerous game, when you get into those, they're limited to a point.
Well, and we're also running a bait truck. So we're running, like my first year going to Tanzania, Nathan threw me on the back of a truck with 4 black guys who didn't speak English. They spoke Swahili. And he said, hey, go find me some leopards, start hanging baits. And I did that for 3 months straight. No idea where I was, what I was doing, with 4 guys who didn't speak a lick of English. And he said, figure it out. Find me some leopard.
Did you find any?
Oh, yeah, we shot 3 that year, I think.
So can you speak any Swahili now?
Kidogo. A little bit.
I thought he was saying little winner.
Oh, my God.
Well, of course, that's the one thing you learned.
But you kind of, like, they knew they were looking for a leopard.
Correct.
And so you can kind of, like, hand gesture.
Right.
Tree. Hang the bait here.
That's what I'm doing.
Tree meow.
So, do you think most of the people that are coming over there, they're doing like these basic hunts, are they paying for this in cash? Or are they financing this?
Most of it has to be paid up front.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Like
do you think
check.
that they?
No,
You don't think they're getting a loan and then they're writing you a check from the loan?
Hard to say. As long as your money clears, I don't care how it goes.
No, I'm sure you don't. I'm just curious because it seems like there's a lot of people going over there, and that I just.
But what's it saving up 3 years? Let's say you want to go do a $15,000 hunt. 3 years of saving. What can you cut back on? I mean, it's realistic if you don't want to do it right.
Yeah, if you're trying to be really
I
disciplined.
think he's just
Correct.
referring to there is a lot of people that are going. It seems to be a lot more people going that you know pretty well. Not everybody just has 15, 25, 30,000 laying around.
Right.
And some of them may be a spur of the moment kind of thing. I've heard of quite a few people that get loans and stuff for a hunt that I'm like, oh boy.
Right.
Which
But
would have to probably be a
how
personal
common it
loan, so
was.
their interest rate's probably crazy unless they're taking it out on their house.
Well, I know guys that take out, I don't know them. I mean, I know them still. I guess they're still doing it. They were taking out loans to put in for all their tags.
But they're getting that money back. If they didn't
80%
draw.
of it, most of them are like 80, 85%, but some of them, the licenses were gone. You had to buy a license to put in for the tag.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, and we usually just do 50% deposit just on the daily rate because we don't know what you're going to shoot. So you're going to be there for 14 days or 10 days at $200 a day. That's $2,000. 50% of that $1,000 deposit, and that's going to hold your hunt for up to a year. And then it's like the closer we get, the more money. We'll do it in payments and installments. That's the best way to do it, and then that helps us get your licenses and everything like that along.
So you guys take care of the licenses, and someone doesn't have to do that themselves. You guys have everything in place when they get there.
Yep. All we do is send you some paperwork, an email. You sign everything. We need your passport, photo, all that kind of stuff.
That makes it a little bit better, where it isn't just all up front. Like you could put down $1,000,
right?
Or that holds it for a year. You said,
yeah, typically a year. You buy the hunt right
even
now.
if you're like planning 3 years ahead, like you're trying to get a spot in. That's what you guys are open for,
right?
And so it would hold it for that year,
right? Yeah,
okay. Yeah, that's not bad because then you could be didn't you say that last time that you could say I did want to go hunt in 5 years? That's when I was gonna be able to. You guys were open. I could put $1,000 down on the hunt, and then I could be sending you guys money right now, couldn't I?
Yeah,
As
just
for the next 5 years. Yeah.
And then, Easton, you're going to come hunt with me. Here's my prices for your kudu, sable, everything.
Yeah.
I will lock these prices in if you give me $2,500 right now.
Ah.
Because the inflation of it. Because in South Africa, all those animals are privately owned. So you guys come to Joe Bob's ranch and he's got 17 kudu. Well, 3 years from now, may be down to 8 kudu.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's going to have to jack his prices up to make it, to do all that. So you write me a check for $2,500 right now. You're coming on the hunt 3 years from now. Your prices are locked in. Call it good. Send me installments throughout the next 3 years.
That's pretty slick. That I feel like would be a lot more doable.
Yeah, you're planning for it. And I mean, it's just a forced savings type thing. You just send it in and it's already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's no different than anything else if you really want to go do it.
Yeah.
So the one question that we asked about, because Alaska, a guy needs to be in pretty good shape.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, this is not going to be easy. Africa, I've heard, not that case.
Yeah.
That anyone can pretty much do it.
Right.
I mean, as far as a scale of 1 to 10 on difficulty physically, what are we looking at? 3 or 4?
Yeah. Depend. All these hunts are a bunch of aerials, but you're riding around in the truck. We spot an animal, grab the rifles, get down, and then spot and stalk them from there. And you may go 300 yards and take a shot. You may go 3 miles and have to take a shot. Depends on what those animals are doing. But it's flat, relatively flat. You're not walking up steep. You're not climbing 7,000 feet.
So,
elevation.
and then compared to, I know you guys take a lot of rifle hunters, but you said you take some bow hunters too.
Yep.
How much more difficult are we talking when you start packing a bow? And is it more sitting in a blind?
Correct.
Yeah.
A lot more sitting in the blind over a water hole, which is awesome. I mean, you get to see animals you never would see if you were just riding around on the truck. But there's some animals that only, like the eland, only come to water like every couple days. So you see a group of eland, get your pack off, load it up with water, grab your bow, and be ready to walk, because those eland will walk forever. If that's what you want as a bull eland, then you're going to have to work for it. Right. You're not going to shoot them over a water hole unless you're just lucky.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Do you guys hunt hyenas?
Yep.
Do you call them or just
shoot them over bait?
That's boring.
It's a lot of fun. No, we shot this one-eyed hyena a couple of years ago. He was on a lion bait, and he just came running in middle of the afternoon. And typically, they're like coyotes. They like to hang out at night. And he walked right in the middle of the afternoon. He had one eye. It was just giant, stinky old thing. It was awesome.
That'd be cool. I go shoot some of them.
So what? Yeah. And I know we asked before on moose hunts, but what's one of the African hunts that is most memorable for you? Has there been something that was like either scary or it was like you guys worked your ass off to get the shot at this thing, or I might have should have given you a heads up so you don't have to just think of one off the cuff. But
now so I've been fortunate to be on 6 leopard hunts. All 6 of those leopard hunts have been incredible. And the amount of work it goes in to kill leopard, that is my favorite thing on planet Earth to hunt. And it's giant chess game, because you're baiting for them. You're trying to figure out if it has to be a male, can't be females. How big is this male? How old is this male? Do we have pictures of them from 4 years ago? Because we're trying to shoot the past breeding age leopards.
And is after 4 when they quit breeding?
Yeah, 4 to 5, 6, depending on the area. But there was one leopard, and Nathan was sitting in front of me. The client was sitting to his left, and this was in a blind we'd built just out of thatch grass and everything. And we're sitting there in the morning, and we hear something walking around the blind. And we're sitting there, and Nathan kind of looks, and he looks at me, and he says, "Is that a leopard?" And I was like, "No, I think it's a hyena." And so we're sitting there, and I kind of peek my head up over, and there's the leopard sitting like right in front of the blind, just kind of looking up and we're shooting out of a hole this big. And he's just like looking into the blind and stuff, and then he kind of goes on his way, and about 5 minutes later, there he is up in the tree, and we whacked him. I mean, that was so much fun.
Do they not care about wind?
They do, but you make it to where they're so used to the smell of you being there. So, like, we'll check a bait 5 days in a row before we'll sit for that cat. So, hang a bait. Leopard hits it the first night. It's a leopard we want to shoot. We'll spend the next 2 or 3 days giving that leopard fresh meat every day. Walking around, you're not like peeing around the tree, but you're walking around spreading your scent. Day 3, day 4 comes, then you'll build the blind. He's going to come and check out that blind for the next couple days. So then on like day 5 or day 6 is when you're actually going to climb in and sit for that cat. And we shoot all of our cats either first thing in the morning, right at daylight, or right before last light in the evenings.
So do you sit all day then?
No, sit for 3 or 4 hours. Like we shot that leopard at like
Nice
9 o'clock in
backyard
the morning.
So you, one, how do you know it's a male? Are you able to tell like from their head and everything, or you got?
You can, but you.
You're looking for their nuts.
Yeah.
So
no,
you're putting
exactly.
a camera up like towards the tree, trying to get a picture of their dong.
Yeah, so usually have a have a camera hanging at the base of the tree where he's going to go up. Sometimes you can see it, and it's just a little bulge right at their back, right where their tail meets. And then have another camera up in the tree.
You don't have like regular balls.
They're very small.
Yeah.
So
They're
even
not
seeing
like-
their
they're not
seeing
like
if their
hanging down.
package isn't even easy.
They're not like
No.
a sheep.
And then how do you
Sheep
know?
have huge nuts.
Giant,
Yeah,
or like
sheep
dog
would
nuts.
be fine because you don't have to place the camera anywhere. I mean, it's at their knees. So
not like dogs.
then, how do you know too that it's the same one? Is there like their patterns different and stuff, or
So each leopard have a different set of spots. So we had one we named L3. So he had 3 spots down, 3 spots over. So L3.
is that hard to tell most times? Or is it like get kind of pretty easy after you looked at quite a few?
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult because sometimes you'll have maybe 2 younger males feeding, and they look very similar just from the pictures. You really got to dial in on the spots.
Okay.
And you're looking at the spots right behind the shoulder. So like we're sitting, and our blinds aren't very far. I mean, we're talking 60 to 80 yards from the bait tree. So when he climbs up in there, you're looking right behind the shoulder, right behind the crease. You're looking for some distinct 5 or 6 spots right behind that shoulder crease. And then you know, because I mean, cats come and go. They don't like something about it, they're gone. And then another leopard show up the
I
next
just need
day.
to start using paintball guns, man.
Schwack 'em.
Mark each one. Yeah, you got the blue one today.
I don't know if I'd want to shoot a leopard with a paintball.
I don't know if I would either, but
I think it's just cool that, I mean, like, who came up with, I love hunting out of a ground blind, you know, for whitetails, for turkeys, for whatever, and how, like, the system you guys have of finding them, and then, like, we are constantly talking about whether or not should you march around on your farm or should you stay out of your farm, and here you guys are like, oh, we're marching around here, and we're going to, you know, make this where he gets used to this because there's fresh food here, and just keep, I mean, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
There was one leopard we drove up on, and we would drive up there for like 3 days in a row, and him and his female were sitting in the tree. And we were sitting in the truck looking at them. They wouldn't get down. And then we had, we just kind of wait for them. And then they'd kind of get a little agitated, and then they'd slither off, but they'd run up the side of this riverbank and just lay there. So then I'd like stand there with a rifle while the guys are fixing the meat, changing out the meat. Like that cat was so used to us that it was like he had zero fear.
How big do they get?
180 pounds is a big one, like a giant one.
Okay.
140 to 160s.
So kind of
about
like a
the
mountain
mountain
lion.
Yeah.
yeah, they're just built a little. All the ones I've seen mounted are built a little different. They seem like their front half is kind of like a sheep of cats.
Stacked.
They're a little more muscular, and I think that's the carrying stuff up and down out, like because they'll kill their kill and take it up in the tree to get it so the lions and shit like that can't
Hyenas
get to it.
can't
Or
get
What
to
did
hyenas.
Waylon's weigh? I feel like his was big.
I think he killed like 160 or 170 pound leopard.
Yeah, I think it was big.
Kurt Clark killed one just by accident. It was one of these deals where he was over there hunting, and they had a quota that they needed to get rid of, and he didn't know that the guy was telling him shoot it, and he was like, I don't want to spend the money on, and it was one of those things where they needed to get rid of it. It wasn't expected or anything like that. It was freaking huge.
Right.
I don't remember what it weighed, but it was a giant leopard that he finally
hit
shot.
the lottery on that one.
Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
did. Well, but then he couldn't get it back that must have been 15, 20 years ago that happened. And then I don't know how the whole thing worked out, but I know for 15 years he didn't get it. You know, he couldn't get it back.
All the permits and
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, it was all waiting to get it all worked out.
What about cheetahs? You guys hunt cheetahs
Can't hunt cheetahs.
at all?
No.
That's fair. You'd never be able to hit it anyways.
Running too fast.
What about Cape Buffalo? Because
Oh,
that's the one that everyone talks about that are so scary. And
They're
That was a water
terrifying.
buffalo that were there.
Cape Buffalo.
water buffalo are in Australia. Cape buffalo are in Africa.
Oh, that makes so much more sense to separate them. I thought they both lived in the same area.
I thought it was who? I thought it was the same thing.
Asiatic water
You
buffalo.
didn't know that.
Yes, I did.
Kiss my ass.
Wait, so it was water buffalo is in
Asiatic water buffalo are in Asia and Australia.
okay,
Cape
they-
buffalo are in Africa.
and the Cape buffalo is more dangerous than the water buffalo. Or
Yes, can be.
okay,
Cape Buffalo had the big boss, black, like massive, and then it comes out in curls. And then the water buffalo are longer. They're big too, but they're longer horned. You know, are water buffalo though larger body size, or are Cape Buffalo bigger?
I don't know about I've never seen.
They're
a
both
water buffalo.
humongous, but they're
giant
built.
animals.
They're built a little different, I guess. It's kind of like an oryx to an elk. I mean, trying to compare that.
Yeah, this is a Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
And that's just a gnarly, big old
Stacked.
Yeah.
boss boy.
So you personally, like, if there's one animal that you have the most fear or respect for, what would you say it is?
Probably Cape buffalo.
Even more than grizzlies or anything like that?
Yeah, because Cape buffalo are like a grizzly. They just don't want to go down. But it's 2,000 pounds, and they we heart shot one, and he ran a mile.
What? Holy
How
cow.
they do that?
They're so big. We rounded this bush, and the guy had a 416 Rigby double, and he put both barrels.
Yeah, I know exactly what gun that is.
Yeah, it's a big rifle. Rounded this bush. The other PH that was with us, he said shoot it. So he hit him twice with that double, and that buffalo still went a mile. And we shot at him as he was running away and hit him. And I don't know if we hit him or not, but.
So if you had to choose which one you're gonna get charged by, you're taking a grizzly.
Between a grizzly and a Cape buffalo,
Yeah.
That's a death either way.
Probably a grizzly.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm taking the Cape buffalo.
Well, no.
What are you going to do with it?
It can't bite me or anything. I don't feel it's gonna be near as agile as a grizzly. Like, I feel like I got no chance of trying to outmaneuver a grizzly or anything, like trying to get behind a tree or anything.
I think you could juke a grizzly bear if need be.
I don't think so.
I got to show you some Cape buffalo videos. They are agile as heck.
They're not the ones with the acidic
Really?
piss, right? Is that a wildebeest or is that a myth?
I've never heard that before.
It's just from the Lion King, you know. You know how they all circle them in the
I
tree.
think you're thinking of what is the Komodo dragon that has?
No.
They bite. They don't have teeth.
Right.
They just put their nasty
It's
on it and then let it die.
Right.
They just follow it until it finally dies of poisoning.
Jeez.
One of them suckers will circle them. I don't know if it actually has acidic piss or not, but it'll circle them, like circle something in a tree and just it won't leave. Is that a thing? It's a Lion King, bro. They're giving us false advertisement.
if it's a cartoon, it's got to be real. You know, it's
You would
kinda
think
like,
it'd be somewhat accurate. You're supposed to learn something as a little kid.
Now the other one though, Sam, that has just blown my mind, and everyone again, like everyone saying they want to go back, is the tracking ability of these guys. Everyone is like, these trackers are freaking phenomenal.
Right.
That they're able to pick out tracks in the sand of who is what and follow these animals.
Right. And it's red blood and red sand. Like, how does that work?
They follow the blood?
Oh, they'll follow the tracks.
I was going to say, I thought
Yeah.
wow, it's still either way is ridiculous. They don't need a dog.
Well, some of them do, especially in South Africa. You can have blood tracking dogs. But a lot of these trackers are ex-poachers. I mean, they were caught and they said, hey, you either go to jail or you come work for us. And one guy, Saloom, he was an ex-poacher. His dad was a giant poacher in the 70s, killed tons of elephants in Tanzania. That guy, I mean, you turn him loose and he could track a buffalo or an elephant like it was going out of style.
That doesn't bother you?
No.
Like, as far as they're not bad people as far as killing a person? Or aggressive towards people or anything, or like
No, I mean,
I'm thinking like a gang dude that's doing some stupid shit, and then he gets caught. He can either go help the FBI or he can go to jail.
Yeah, but now
You know
this
what I
dude
mean?
is making money legitimately and making probably good money, you know, and there's some worth to him, you know, like people are appreciating what he's doing, and
But why not go do that the first place?
because he
Can
probably
you
didn't
not
have
get
the
a
choice.
job?
didn't have an
It's
idea
hard.
on how to do it.
Yeah.
we have a lot of trackers that younger guys that show up thinking that they want to be trackers. They're from the village and they have no idea. It's built into them. And Saloom is 60 years old and still tracking, so he's been doing it since he was 10. And he was caught poaching, and hey, come work for us. And he saw that green, and he was like all in for it. And he realized, hey, instead of me risking my life to do this, I get a bunch of meat plus I get some money for 3 months out of work. This is awesome.
Going off what you're saying, he probably makes more money with you guys than he did off the freaking elephants.
Correct.
Oh, no, I lost it. Never mind.
Well,
Continue.
while you're thinking, the other thing is not looking over his shoulder to live, because they shoot him over there, don't they? I mean, on occasion. I mean, poachers.
Yeah, you're supposed to turn them over to the authorities.
That doesn't mean
but
you
if
have
you're-
to.
You're a long ways from the authorities out there. But there's been stories, and I've never been a part of it, but burning down poachers' huts. I mean, take all their snares and take their bicycles. That's their lifeblood out there, is a bicycle or a dirt bike.
They're probably gonna die anyways. Then
Yeah, I mean they'll make their way back to the villages.
They just
follow
won't.
the river.
They won't be killing anything else though.
Right.
yeah,
No, but there's been some stories where they just disappear.
that's fair. That's what I was gonna ask. Is who's the one catching them? Is that like the what do you call them, ranches or?
Yeah, so you'll have, like, in Tanzania we have a government authority that they come along on all the hunts, and they're just rangers, game rangers, and they're there to make sure that we're shooting only males, we're doing everything legally, X, Y, and Z, we're not discarding the meat. But they have anti-poaching units that'll go out. Like, when we're not there, the 3 months we're there, they'll stay out of there, but they have one person who rides with us all the time. When we're not there, they'll have a truck of 10 guys go out, and their sole job is to go around trying to find poachers all throughout the year.
Do they ever need to hire people?
They're all, like, locals that they hire.
They don't want to hire an American.
No. Well, no.
Oh, I can see Easton's wheels turning. He's like, man, I go over there and do that. Look for
I'd rather
poachers.
hunt poachers than freaking pay to hunt some of the animals.
I wouldn't.
I've heard it's pretty dangerous, though, ain't it?
Yeah, and they're living off the bush for 6 months out of the year. You're drinking hippo poop water and
Yeah,
That's
sounds
nasty.
good.
rice and beans.
And Oopa Loopa, or whatever the heck you call the freaking flour and water.
Ugali.
Ugali. Yeah, I was close.
All right. Any other questions? I think we've picked his brain pretty daggone well today. So one more time, name of the company that you're working for. If someone wanted to book something, they can reach out to you or
Bullet Safaris. Nathan Askew. Check out the website, Instagram, Facebook. He's an awesome guy and does really, really good work.
we can put a link in there, can't we, Nick? Yeah. So no, Sam, again, I appreciate it, man, because I'm sitting here like I have 10 more questions, but I know that our listeners would get tired of listening to us just ask questions, but it's just.
We can always do a part 2 too.
Yeah, but it's just so fascinating that we don't know about what's going on in it is another, I don't want to say another country, it's another part of the world.
Right.
But yet hunting is still a big deal there.
Yeah, like something like 23% of Tanzania's gross GDP comes from tourism and hunting.
Holy cow.
That's
yeah. Like
big jump.
So they need it too. I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah,
helps them.
for sure.
Yep. Yep.
That is one that is I think that doing like what we're doing here is great, but at the same time, you give yourself what Warren always loves to say, give yourself the over-analysis paralysis or the analysis paralysis where I feel like this is something you're never going to get all the answers. You're just going to have to commit and trust that I've got the money to do it on this one or whatever. I'm going to go do it. And if you end up going back, well, now you know. But I feel like you're never going to get. There's so many little tiny things you're talking about that you're almost better off just talking to you. Like,
well, and I know enough just to get me in trouble. I know a lot about a little.
yeah.
If that makes sense. There's still stuff that I'd have to be over there 20, 25 years, and I still probably wouldn't learn everything.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things that I think we get caught up in as hunters is $20,000 and I have to kill 5 animals. Oh my gosh, it costs me $4,000 per animal if you break that down. Man, what you got in those 14, 15 days of living life, how much was that worth?
Oh,
because what you are going to see, what you're going to feel, what you're going to hear, that's what everyone comes back talking about is like most of them. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, a lot of them don't even talk much about the animals they shot. They're like, you're not going to believe you go in there and you see this and you see that, and they're like, it was just unbelievable, so yeah, it's worth, a lot of it is worth way more than what it amounts to. So
it'll change your life.
Well, here's the thing, guys, is also I would tell you we can get in touch with Sam. So if you have other questions that you're thinking that we've brought up or something like that, shoot us a message. We'll try to answer what we can. If not, we'll reach out to Sam, but we'll probably just direct you straight to him. But other than that, man, I can't thank you enough. Again, this was super information, and we're glad we got to sit down and do this again. And we'll have you back, and we'll be talking some more. I know that you guys were pretty daggone successful in Alaska this year.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to give it away, but they killed some big moose, and they were close.
Yeah.
You guys were shooting some stuff that wasn't far away.
Longest shot was 68 yards.
That's the longest
That
shot.
was the longest shot.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that with a gun or a bow?
All of them were with a gun, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
Closest one was like 17.
That's freaking sweet.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's makeable
Dude,
by
that was
Big
a
Daddy.
freaking pistol. Imagine killing a moose with a pistol.
No, imagine killing with a bow.
Well, I know. I'm just thinking gun related. Like,
Gotcha. All right, Warren, are you ready, man?
I am.
I think Warren's got us a wacky fact.
Jackie Chan's father was a spy and his mother was a drug dealer. They met through an arrest.
I
Are
don't
you
care about
kidding?
Jackie Chan.
Huh?
That was
What?
a good one.
I think that was
Yes.
great. I totally. That, is
Green
the,
button.
Veto that one.
that was the first time I've ever totally disagreed with the little button man.
I don't care about Jackie Chan.
But Jackie Chan was big in my ear. Huh?
Jackie Chan is like
He's the start of
the
all
biggest
the.
superstar ever.
Whatever. Go on.
I don't know about that. That's pretty much. That would have to be a red
He's
button.
pretty freaking up there.
But as
And
far as MMA or
MMI about
mixed
me,
martial
not-
arts,
yeah, okay.
he was kind of the first one that came here. Him and Bruce Lee, were like the start.
MMIA, Marshall missing in action. Where's this royal fighter? We no find. In 2008, a man from Chicago bought a car for $600, registered it in his ex-girlfriend's name, then parked the car at O'Hare Airport and racked up 678 parking tickets, totaling $105,000
So he did that just to his girlfriend?
to his ex-girlfriend.
That's funny. That's intelligent, too.
Thanks to the Wacky Fat Gang for sending me new pages.
Oh, my, that's very
now he's got
funny.
people helping.
Yeah,
So-
shout out to Jake.
Yeah, so these guys are now Warren's got a whole entourage following. One, they're sending him wacky facts, but two, and we should get some fresh ones now, is 80-inch sheds. I mean, guys we got a buddy that just found an absolute slob, 93, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, there's people out there finding them. Keep sending the 80s, keep sending the wacky facts. We appreciate it. But anything else before I close us out? Are we good?
Good.
All right, guys. Again, go to the Raised Hunting. Go to the Raised Hunting website. Raised Scents, Raised Knox, Raised Canine, and anything else that you guys are looking for. Shoot us messages there. We seem to be getting a lot of people looking at an ambassador program. There's a form on there for you to fill out if you're wanting to work in like a pro staff position or something like that. Give us a little time. We're still working on how to coordinate all that, but
And you get a discount on our website for
Yep.
listening to the podcast, which Nick will put in there. I think it's like RHP Crew 15, something like that. Yeah, there you go. But
So,
we'll put it in there.
can't thank you guys enough. We will see you next week from the Raised Hunting Podcast. This is David Holler signing off.